You don't need to be a finance expert to work as the business analyst in market technology, but you need the right skills for it. So in today's video, I will be breaking down the essential skills that investment banks looking for. Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you want to work in market technology as the business analyst, especially as the beginner, then this video is for you. I will cover business skills, technology skills, and also which exactly financial knowledge you need to have in order to get a job as the business analyst in investment banking. And if you're new here, I'm business analyst, I'm working in investment banking, and I'm also MBA and CQF qualified. The number one skill that is required for a business analyst is a communication, because on a daily basis you will have to work with a variety of different stakeholders from various departments in the bank. For example, traders, risk managers, product owners, product development team, and also of course the development team, your engineers, who will build eventually the solution in order to satisfy a business needs which you will be translating from your stakeholders. Because of your job is to translate a business language into the technical requirements and technical problem into the business impact. For example, let's say a trader has reached you out because he sees some issue or maybe incorrect numbers with the risk. So the business analyst, you need to approach the situation and ask the right question. For example, which product does it cause the issue? Which system? When did it start? To be honest, I have learned throughout my career that this is the skill alone that can actually make or break your career alongside. Another important skill is the gathering and documentation of the business requirements. You must be able to ask a right question, document requirements clearly, and try to avoid any confusion, because your understanding is very critical here, as you will bring those requirements later to your engineers in order to build the right solution, right, which will satisfy traders or maybe risk managers, and to fix or avoid any problems. Very often you will have to work on the common documents like business requirements, then later you translate them into the functional requirements which needs to be understood by your engineering team. User stories, acceptance criteria, and here you don't really need any fancy tools. What is the most important here? That you bring clarity and simplicity to the requirements and documentation. The next one skill is to understand the system that your stakeholders or maybe trader are using, for example, for their daily job. It's important to highlight here that no one is expect you to code 24/7, but you need to have a really good understanding around the system. You need to know why those systems are existing. You need to understand from where data comes, which feeding into the system and where it later goes. For example, if you work in the market technology department, then you will find yourself working alongside the current flow, where you will see trade capture system. For example, when the traders, they book the trade. So we, as a bank, we need to create and have in a place the system which basically capture those trades. Then there will be a risk system that generate the risk. For example, that later it will be reported and will be used by risk manager, finance, or others department, which are looking after the risk in the bank. Another important technical skills that you need to have is the Excel. Maybe it sounds old-fashioned, but a lot of banks, they are still heavily use Excel on a daily basis. You should know how to use filters, pivot tables, VLOOKUP, and basic formulas. Maybe here you don't need to know macros, but you need to be comfortable with using Excel on a daily. The following, we have a basic SQL, which actually I found very powerful tool, because as the business analyst, you will also find yourself working with a lot of data on daily basis. and you need to be able to query data from different databases. You should understand the basic of SQLs like select, from, join, group by, because of this can help you to investigate, for example, any issue that might occur, and you don't have to wait for a developer for later to help you to derive any data from databases. The next one, we have financial knowledge and some of the capital market basics. You don't need to be CFA qualified in order to become a business analyst in investment banking, but you need to have a good understanding of the following. For example, what trades represent, how it's being captured, how it flows into the system. You need to have a good understanding of the financial products as those are being traded on daily basis in investment banking. For example, how we can price a bond, what represent equity, what are the swaps, what are the FX products, which equity we might have, and how we are price them. You need to be prepared when you come to the interview, but also you will learn a lot of this on your job. Trade lifecycle, I would say it's also one of the most important knowledge that you need to have while working in the capital market. The simple view of how the trades are being booked, about their validation. You need to also understand how the risk is being calculated in the bank, about the settlements of the trades and reporting. And I would say most of the business analysts are usually fits in somewhere in this life cycle. The following we have testing and user acceptance skills, which unfortunately often is being ignored. But the truth is that business analysts are heavily involved in the testing while working in the bank. So you need to know how to write test criteria, what user acceptance testing means, and how to validate the business needs. Here you need to know how to write test cases, what user acceptance means, and how to validate any business scenarios. The importance here that you are testing to see if actually the system are behaving correctly and as expected. You don't really look in if the code complies. Let's look which soft skills banks also eager for you to have as the business analyst. I hope I will not disappoint you by saying that banks, they don't want just business analysts to write documents, which is very often, I would say, being believed that business analysts in investment banking, what they are doing, it's all about writing documents 24/7. But this is not quite true. Banks, they want you to have analytical skills, so you will be able to investigate any issue that might happen on a daily basis. Think logically and also be able to connect the dots in the end. Capital market systems are very complex, so you need to have ability to learn very fast. They don't expect you to know everything, but they want you to learn quickly, ask right question, and improve continuously. So which area I would suggest for the beginners to stop overthinking? As the beginner, you should be stop worrying about advanced financial mathematics, formulas, about programming and perfect domain knowledge. Instead, you need to develop and work on your communication skills, logic, curiosity. So in this video, we just went through some of the essential skills that you need as the beginner to be working as the business analyst in investment banking. And if you enjoyed this video, you might also like this one, and please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't yet. And thank you very much for watching me, and see you in the next video.